Hi, my name is Shveta Banker, and I will be discussing the first half of Chapter 14, Forging the National Economy, which runs from the years 1790 to 1860, to help you on the APUSH exam. Let's begin. During the westward movement, pioneers became sick and lonely while traveling further west, in search of land that was not exhausted, so that they could grow tobacco on the new land. The land that they left behind, the land that had been used and drained by the tobacco previously, now flourished with Kentucky bluegrass. In the 1820s, American fur trappers began to set up their traps near the Rocky Mountains. Based on the rendezvous system, fur trappers would meet with traders to exchange the beaver pelts in return for manufactured goods. Americans began to admire the scenery around them. It began to spark literature and paintings, which led to the conservation movement of nature. George Catlin's proposal for preserving nature led to the creation of a national park system. Yellowstone became the first in 1872. By 1860, the U.S. was the fourth most populous country in the world, with 33 states. The increase in people brought issues such as bad sewage, impure water, and rats. Many Europeans began to come to America as Europe itself began to struggle due to overpopulation. Reasons why people began to leave Europe for America included freedom between church and state, a better chance of gaining land, and a better chance of getting oneself out of poverty. Another prominent reason why people began to come to the United States was because of the introduction of steamboats. These steamboats could now bring people to America in 10 to 12 days instead of weeks and were fairly cheap. In the mid-1840s, Ireland's potatoes had a disease in them, causing a famine, leading to the name the Great Famine. Within Ireland, 2 million people died, and most fled to the United States in hope for survival. Upon arriving, many began to steal, as the nativists called it, the jobs of the native workers, which led to increased competition. Some places began an NI-NA campaign, No Irish Need Apply, to prevent them from stealing even more jobs than they already had. They also hated both blacks and the British. The Irish had a new desire for American politics. They began to fill up slots for police officers in some cities. The politicians running for high positions began to use tactics like criticizing Britain to appeal to the Irish. Between the 1830s to the 1860s, Germans also began to immigrate to the United States. Their reasons included crop failures and the hope for democracy. Unlike the Irish, the Germans had money when they immigrated, so they were financially stable. They supported the idea of education and proposed the idea of a modern-day kindergarten. On the other hand, the Germans were very opposed to slavery and brought beer into the United States. A key vocab word is nativist, older Americans who considered themselves native to the land. They were afraid newcomers would steal their jobs. With more and more people arriving, the nativists would become more discriminated against. In the 1840s, the Roman Catholics decided to make their own educational system to protect their children from Protestant views. With the rise of immigrants led to the rise of the Roman Catholic Church. Nativists formed the Know Nothing Party in order to secretively establish the Catholic Church, and I Know Nothing was their go-to answer to any inquiries. They wanted to restrict immigration, write fiction books solely for entertainment, and created mass destruction by burning churches and schools down. The Industrial Revolution began due to a new invention of steam harnessing. It first began in Britain and took a long time to spread to the United States. At first, peasants did not want to work in the dirty factories when they could work in the crops under the sun. Due to this, labor was scarce until the arrival of immigrants in the 1840s. It also took a while for the Industrial Revolution to kick in, because America could not provide the quantity and cost-effective goods as Britain could. During the 1790s, when Britain was thriving with the Revolution, America preferred its more agricultural route. Samuel Slater invented the first efficient American invention in 1791 to spin cotton into thread. On the other hand, Eli Whitney built the first cotton gin in 1793. The invention turned out to be 50 times more effective than hand-picking the cotton. Eli Whitney had patented the cotton gin, but that did not stop rivals from stealing his idea and making cheaper versions of it. The invention quickly made cotton very profitable and saved the South with the term King Cotton. Now, the South flourished with its Industrial Revolution and the invention of new factories of textiles, and the South flourished with its cotton.